Hello and welcome to Frank's School. I think I'm ready. I'm still going to talk about the trip I'm planning to Europe today and maybe the next couple days too. I don't know if you find it interesting or not, but it's at least in part to coach you if you would ever decide that you wanted to do such a thing. But some corrections to make. Yesterday I said that a month ago this airplane ticket would have been $1,500. No, it would have been $1,050. So far there's been about $150 range. Today, if I bought today, it would be $920. I also said that it's cheaper, seems to be cheaper to buy it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday rather than on a weekend, is what I meant, not a holiday. I said a holiday, I misspoke. All right, maybe I won't be so long today. Part of my planning, well, at first, for a while, I was thinking, you know, if I end up making this trip by myself, if nobody joins me, I won't go to Lisbon at all. I know Lisbon. I'll fly straight to Braga. Oporto is actually the closest airport. And that way I can really intensely study the farming in the Minho area and have more time at José's mill. But then it looked like, well, maybe I'll have them meet me. And if that were the case, I would certainly want them to see Lisbon. Lisbon is such a cool city. I still feel that it's the coolest city in Europe for my taste. I really like Lisbon. I think I told you elsewhere, the first time I was ever there, I didn't speak any English, and I loved it. And the two times that I've been there since, I speak Portuguese, and I loved it. In Lisbon, I'm going to arrive, since the flight leaves, that I'm looking at, leaves Monday, the 13th, Monday night, I'll arrive Tuesday. And I looked into this. Would these three museums, I said there's three museums I want to see in Lisbon, would they be open on Tuesday? And I looked. Apparently yes, they would not be open on Monday. So there would have been no point really to go one day earlier. So that could work out. Now it's possible that if anybody joins me, they may not be so interested in these particular museums. There's other things in Lisbon that a tourist is going to more immediately go to, and should. But I want to see the Museo De Otra, and I was there, I think 40 years ago, more. 40 years ago, and I still have the brochure. The building itself is nothing special. I think it's a reason I didn't go in it in my last year. But I want to go to that. I was in it before, and it shows not so much Lisbon, but it's arranged in such a way that there are collections from the various parts of Portugal. And I specifically want to see the collection of things that they have from Minho. This will be before I travel to Minho, so I'll do some research right here in the country to get me better ready to appreciate or to find the right things in Minho. So I want to see that Museum of Popular Art. It says. I'm not so. I've got a strange relationship with art. I don't feel toward art like so many people do toward art. Especially I used to not be drawn to an art museum, but I've learned. And popular art is more like the tools that they had. All right, and there's a museum called the Water Museum. I've never been there. I didn't even know it existed. Maybe it didn't before, but I want to go to that. I've always interested in water and Lisbon's water supply. Lisbon gets its water from an aqueduct. Well, other places now, I'm sure. But there it is, aqueduct. And I'd like to know more about that. I'd really like to know the old part of Lisbon, the Alfama, they call it. I'd love to know where the original fountain was in the Alfama. And I think they probably know. But anyway, that's kind of a personal interest of mine. And then the Tile Museum. Tile. In dialect we say tile. Tile Museum. Yeah. Again, I'm late in life. I sort of came around to art. These azulejos, I guess is what you call them. these blue and white tiles that are all over public buildings in Portugal. They are unbelievable. I mean, they're really, really fine, and I like that art. As a matter of fact, I've talked earlier this week about Michael Hernkane. Yeah, I said about his cartooning. He's a brilliant cartoonist. I had mentioned to him at one point that since these tiles are basically in just two colors, blue over white, they would do fine for cartooning. And I thought, boy, that would be a great way to immortalize your cartoons. But all right, so I want to go to those three museums, and these are rather, you know, if somebody's with me, I guess they'll have to come along or go do something else if they're not interested. So that's part of my plans for Lisbon. This will be at least one. This will be one of my days in Lisbon. When I finally leave Lisbon, if I am by myself, I won't rent a car. I'll take the train, and off I'll go. Maybe a day earlier. But if I am with somebody who will share the driving or drive, well, then I'd like to go to the Serra de Sintra, which is a mountain right in here. And I basically want to follow the water supply. Go up to the aqueduct and follow the water supply, as I've done in other cities. I tend to do that. Where do they get their water? And I think it probably comes from the Serra de Sintra. But you would have to have a car to be able to explore that, and then head north. And I think tomorrow I'll tell you some hopes I have for this trip north. Okay, one other thing today. Next week, I think Monday, I'm going to start class vocabulary. I'm going to try it once again. I tried it 1 week last year. There was no participation, but I ran through it anyway. In video 29.1 on my channel, I explained it last year. You can see how much younger I looked last year, a year and a half ago almost. And I explained the process. And then in 29.2, I begin to run through it pretending that I have contributors. I use student work from other years. Well, I tell you about that now because if you want to participate, I'd love it. I mean, all you'd have to do is, I guess, send it to me as an email, or better yet, just as a comment on this video. A comment and show a word with the information that I've described right there. And that will take pretty much next week. After that, German. I'm going to see if I can get you to love German. All right, see you tomorrow.